whenever the voice of God calls, whatever I have in my hands must fall. Whatever I'm doing must be at pause, because there's nothing more important or of a priority in my life than just like being sure I'm completely surrendered to the Lord.
Actually, let's start off with introduction. Who are you?
Yes. So I'm Jayliene Marie. I am 24. I'm from Tampa, Florida. And I'm a singer, songwriter, editor, beauty enthusiast, all those things. So anything that kind of encapsulates storytelling and just creative storytelling is what I would say Jayliene Marie is.
All right, so the overall collab process, coming in here working with, I guess, us. How was that for you? Like, just the overall process, I guess. Speak to that. Maybe.
Well, it was fun. Every part of it was fun. It was easy. And I think it was easy because the environment was set to just be like, just like creative charged kind of environment. So when I walked in, the ambiance was set, just like the atmosphere. I was ready to just like create and explore. And there wasn't necessarily any set boundaries that felt limiting. You and Sean are just like really incredible people individually. And you kind of create a space that's just easy to flow, easy to find new sounds and create new chords and just explore your voice and explore the music. So it was a really fun process because we were creating without any limitations. Yeah. And that's always fun.
Yeah, you kind of killed it, by the way. Like, I mean, love you kind of killed it.
You're funny. You're funny.
But like you said, like, yo, so when Sean had said that he wanted to get you on a project, she's super dope. She loves God. I was like, okay, that's dope.
That's a priority.
But
it's true.
The record kind of came in like perfect timing after he spoke to you. So can you speak to that timing of everything as far as it being an Afrobeats project? And
no, it's true. It came out the most perfect timing because I had just graduated from college in May of 23. I had no idea what I was going to do after immediately. I had a few jobs and I was just really praying about, but as one does that follows the Lord, you just kind of been praying about it like, oh, that's not the job. So I said no. And then moving right towards graduation, I felt the Lord pulling me to the mission field, which was nothing I studied for, nothing I intended to do. I studied really to be a writer. Journalism, editing, and publishing is my emphasis. So I was doing that already and singing already, and that also played into songwriting too. So that whole world was already what I was doing. So it caught me by surprise that I felt the Lord calling me to the mission field, and of all places, to Mozambique for 2 months. So I hesitated, but as one does, but I prayed, I sought the Lord, and I just knew it was right. So I made the decision to go, and I went there, didn't speak the language. I didn't really have a translator. I went by myself, and there was a organization I partnered with and a missionary I went to work under. The only thing I knew at the time that I was doing was to build a worship team for a local church, and which I did, but it's looking back now, hindsight, they say, is 2020. I'm looking back now, and it was probably the most like just refining 2 months of my life, because not only did I just surrender to the Lord and I got to see the Lord in a brand new way, but he was also like expanding my musical ability without me realizing. I'm here teaching these people or trying to find people to build a worship team in their church and just translate certain songs into Portuguese, which is their national language. But it blew my mind though, because maybe 3 months later when I came back to the States, I knew that I was still writing, still doing other things, using my degree. I just didn't understand what the musical portion of me being in Africa and building a worship team with their sound would look like until Sean had given me a call and just explained to me what was up and what he had and what the Lord had put in his heart and the team's heart. And when he was explaining to me everything, I was sitting there like, God, only you could put together 2 months of me just being completely immersed in a beautiful culture with such rich heritage and amazing sounds and just their way of doing worship, their way of doing music. And for me to come here and put to practice what I got to just be partnered with. So I think that made the project that much sweeter for me because I got to do it in Spanish, which is my heritage, but I also got to do it with an influence of like a lot of Afrobeat influence, which is something that connected with my soul for 2 months. So it's a beautiful thing because I'm already going back this coming summer. So it's all the Lord to just bring everything together.
Okay, so from artist to art, actually writer to writer. Sometimes you can write or in music. Sometimes you can get caught up in like melodies or cadences. And sometimes the message that you want to convey is kind of lost because people just vibing.
Yeah.
On this song, if somebody like, what is something that you want to make sure people walk away from your verse on this record?
Well, I was really inspired by when I was first trying to write to it. I heard the lyrics, "You feel the rhythm, I feel the rhythm, yes for rhyme." That whole thing just really inspired actually my verse and kind of what I wanted to take it to, because I know the metaphor of the song is like follow me as I follow Christ, but just in a way of like dancing and that whole rhythm of like, 1-2 step kind of vibe. But when I was writing, I sat down and thought, okay, let me look internally and see like what makes my life set apart differently. And it's the fact that whenever the voice of God calls, whatever I have in my hands must fall. Whatever I'm doing must be at pause, because there's nothing more important or of a priority in my life than just like being sure I'm completely surrendered to the Lord. So how do I do that in a song that's just talking about dancing? Well, it's easy. I'm following him. It's just that simple. And it makes it a little bit easier because I am Latina and I do love to dance. So I put the two together. But like you're saying, writer to writer, it's just like, for me, I just look internally and like, what is my heart saying to this right now? And it was saying, wherever he goes, I'll go. And if that means like dancing with him, if it means running with him, if it means crawling with him, I'll do it. Yeah. So that's the kind of vibe I was going for.
Mission accomplished.
Thank you. Indeed. Much appreciated.
Boom. So with the song being like a metaphor for like follow me as I follow Christ.
Yeah.
In the space of like the space that we live in and create music, one of the things we find like there's not like a lot of music that kind of touches on that like real love type deal and real love adding in Christ. Keeping everything married together the way it's supposed to be. I asked this question.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest difference is between dating or being married to someone who is following Christ and the opposite of someone who's not following Christ?
So you're saying the difference between dating someone who is following Christ versus dating someone or married who is not? Well, bottom line is like the way I see it is personally, because I'm not in a relationship currently. Okay. But by choice. And the reason being is just like, let me put that in there. No, by choice. Reason being, I just think I see my life as like a race per se. And I didn't always see it this way until I think I got a little bit older and I started my list of what I wanted to see in a spouse started, instead of being all this and this and this, I'm like, wait, that stuff doesn't really matter. I'm noticing that this is a priority. And being this way. So in this race of life, I see my life as a race that I'm just like on this track to just pursue the Lord fervently. And if I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody, I don't see it possible for me to like have them behind me, because then it's like at this point, my eyes are no longer focused on what matters because I'm trying to convince them or encourage them or uplift them to be here when that's not my job, it's the Lord's job. So for me, it's like, dating somebody who is not following Christ, I don't see that as really beneficial in some sense if my eyes are here, because then my focus is out of whack. So if the person is beside me and we're running this race together, now we're like-minded, now we're equally yoked, now we're able to just like run after what matters together, because two are better than one. So to me, it's like I want to be with somebody who is able to run at the pace I'm running, so that when I'm weary, they can see here versus like imagine up ahead if I'm weary or not. Right. Yeah.
Exceptional answer.
Thank you.
Dang, there's one more question. I want to go to my handy dandy notebook. This is all gonna be like not in there. No, I skated through it all.
Did you really? Oh, okay. Period. Yay.
Okay, dope. I think it's a wrap.
Period.
Do you have anything else that you want to make sure that people will know? Just in general, anything else you want to say, or where they can find you if you dropping music? Wait, are you dropping it? Like, what's
you know what? That's the goal for 2024. That's the goal. That's right. Yeah, no, that is the goal. I've been writing since I was 15, and leading worship since I was leading worship since I was 12, 13. So that whole world is something I think I'm definitely a big part of my life is called to. So if you want to find me, I'm always singing. I'm always writing. I'm always doing makeup. I have a makeup business. I'm a makeup artist. I doing lots of things. Yeah. So at Jayliene Marie, Jayliene, Marie altogether, and everything's on there. So basically, again, wherever the Lord tells me to do, I'm doing it. And I'm going to do it with a smile. I'm going to do it with passion, and it's going to be fun. So find me there.